everyone. Welcome to My Mom is a Bitch. I'm your host, Jill Maragos, back at it. I did miss 2 weeks. So, last week was Thanksgiving, and my husband and I went out and spent some time with his family, which is lovely and strange because it's lovely. There's no fighting, like just normal talking and supportive environment. No shoes dropping, You're just like, is there going to be something? Is there going to be a fight? No fights, just a normal family. Taking a while to get used to it. It's been like 19 years and I'm still kind of like, how does this all work? And then the week before, I was just in a funk. Just in a funky fucking funk. And I didn't do it. So I'm sorry. I don't want to say a lot of people, a handful of people message me going, what's up? Where's the podcast? Which I love. My personal friend, Michelle, who's a school psychologist out there doing great work. And I appreciate her and I love her. She's a great lady. She asked me. And then I got some emails. One from a woman named Candy, who is now a binge listener, which is awesome. I'm glad to have you. And Cherith, who's fucking awesome herself, sent a lovely email. And I think you guys are all killing it. You're killing the game. We also got a review. I also got a review, which was really lovely, 5 stars. And the person who wrote the review, her evil sister is named Tammy, which is hilarious. And somebody's actually related to Tammy Bitch Tits. So let's do it. I wanted to, I guess, go a little bit deeper into narcissism. When we hear narcissism, or when normal people hear narcissism, maybe somebody who wasn't raised by a narcissist, they just think, oh, some girl who thinks she's really pretty, or whatever. But there's a couple different types of narcissism, and I want to kind of go through that because it's confusing. I as a person, and I'm guilty of this, would hear definitions, and my mom might have a handful of the traits, but then not all of them. And I'm like, well, she's not this though. Like, you kind of tend to leave the door open for recovery or for hope that this person's, able to change. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like no matter what the diagnosis is or what the traits are, if somebody makes you feel like shit and is treating you shitty, fuck that person. Go away from them. I understand it's tricky if you have kids, and that's you're going to have to deal with this person in some way, and I'm sure you'll figure it out. There's lots of ways to do that. But if you're in a relationship, if you're dating someone or you're married and this person is physically or mentally abusive to you, I'm here to tell you, you deserve better. You do. I'm sorry, but you do. And I'm just going to keep telling you that until you fucking believe me. Because it works in both directions, right? If somebody keeps telling you you're a piece of garbage person, eventually you're going to start to believe it. And hopefully, if I tell you they're the piece of garbage person and you're fucking awesome, then you're going to believe me. Might take a few years. We'll get there. I'm trying. I'm trying on me. All right? But we'll get there. Anyway, so let's talk about narcissists. Fun. It's a whole lot of fun. All right. I have a few different articles, and they all kind of say the same thing. And that is that there are 2 types of narcissists. The overt, in-your-face, grandiose, I'm a narcissist. You see him coming down the road. And then there's also the covert, they call them vulnerable, quote-unquote vulnerable narcissists, more introverted. And those people aren't as known, but to me, they're worse. They're worse people. And we're going to talk about that. All right. So, okay. Yes. Okay. So this is where we're going to start. We're going to start at Psychology Today because they know what they're talking about. They do. They know their shit over there at the Psychology Today. And we're going to start with, them talking about covert narcissism. Psychoanalyst James Masterson first identified the closet narcissist, that's in quotes, closet narcissist, someone deflated with an inadequate self-perception, lacking the aggressiveness of the exhibitionist narcissist. They're more prone to depression and feelings of emptiness or like things are falling apart. This subtype has also been referred to as a covert narcissist, vulnerable narcissist, or introverted narcissist. On the surface, they can be hard to identify. These narcissists may appear shy, humble, or anxious. Their gratification may be indirect through their emotional investment in someone they admire. They take things personally and feel distrustful, mistreated, underappreciated, and misunderstood. Although they devalue themselves, they dream of greatness and wonder why people don't appreciate and understand them. They still qualify for narcissistic personality disorder, particularly feeling special and wanting admiration, perhaps secretly, lacking empathy and feeling entitled. They're still self-centered and expect special treatment. They often feel that their specialness is not appreciated and they're misunderstood, or that people or the world at large hasn't sufficiently recognized their uniqueness. Some play the role of victim and a martyr. Listen to this, too. They might be philanthropists or in the clergy or helping professions, yet despite the fact that they appear to genuinely care for others, they're motivated by a need for recognition, power over others, or egotistic pride. They might help by taking over without even asking for permission. They behave self-righteously, superior, moralistic, or like an exploited, resentful sufferer for all of their giving. And I think that's interesting. I think that's my mom. Okay? I think that along with that, and we'll probably see it in another article somewhere, is this feeling slighted kind of feeling, passive aggressiveness, All right. Okay. Look at me. I needed to add on to the Psychology Today article like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. All right. Contrasting with the exhibitionist narcissist. Despite sharing core traits, in a sense, behaviorally, the covert narcissist is the mirror image of the exhibitionist narcissist. While the latter demands to be the center of attention, the former feels slighted that they're not, or gets attention by playing the victim. Instead of working the room, the covert narcissist is self-absorbed. Normal introverts are generally good listeners, but not the narcissist. They consider others boring or ignorant. Rather than ordering others around, the covert narcissist can get their way indirectly through passive-aggressive behavior. I called it, you guys. I was right. I didn't have to correct them. I just jumped the gun. That's all. They may agree to things, but not follow through, be late, forget, or pretend there was no agreement. All narcissists are manipulators. All of them. Covert narcissists may add self-pity to their toolkit to control others. Rather than put down others directly, they are more likely to express envy, which I think is kind of interesting. All right. Due to their introversion, instead of bragging openly, covert narcissists display reserved smugness. And I fucking hate, don't you hate smugness? Smugness is one of the worst fucking traits in people. There's that smugness. I took this, as I'm going off on a tangent, I took this class to try to learn Italian. And this bitch just so fucking smug. I hated her from the minute I walked into the fucking room. That doesn't happen all the time. This chick was so fucking smug. She took my chair. We always sat in the same chair, and it was easy for the poor little Italian girl who was teaching the class to know our names and remember where we were. She sat in my fucking chair. There was nothing special about the chair. It was just a table, with chairs around it. They're all the same. She sat in my fucking... Anyway, smugness. Where were we? Okay. Okay. Judge everyone as... Okay, so let's start that over. Due to their introversion, instead of bragging openly, covert narcissists display reserved smugness and judge everyone as inferior. They might act aloof and disinterested or make dismissive or discounting gestures like looking away, sighing, yawning, and politely, or acting bored. While all narcissists react poorly to criticism, the introvert may have the thinnest skin of all because they believe they're uniquely sensitive instead of the aggressive and exploitive nature of extroverted narcissists. Coverts have feelings of neglect or belittlement, hypersensitivity, anxiety, and delusions of persecution. Yup! That is so my mom to a T. So passive aggressive. I think that there was some tipping point in our relationship where she just started to get real shitty. Might have been me getting married. I think she was either envious of it or I don't know. But since that moment until I ended my relationship with her, she just get these little digs in, these little passive aggressive digs in. It was very weird. And she just sits alone in her place. She sits alone in her house, doesn't do anything. Which, if this was a normal person, I'd be like, oh, it's really sad. Come live with us. But, oh my gosh, she wouldn't want to, and we wouldn't want to have her there at all. But she just wants to be alone with her cats. That's all she really wants. And, she does these little power plays. My aunt, she's losing her marbles. She gets lost going places. She's in her 70s. She gets lost driving around. And her two sisters, who are fucking angels on earth, just these great people, were like, we want to take you to a neurologist, get you checked out. They had like a month to wait for this appointment, and they're all strategizing. You're going to meet at this house. My mom shows up at my Aunt Cynthia's house. She's like, I forgot my purse. As though that was going to end everything. So they rush back, get the purse, make it to the place on time. My mom becomes sick, which I think is one of those things that she can kind of turn on and off, and doesn't finish the appointment. And she's like, I'm not coming back here. I'm done with this. It was her way of shutting all of it down because God forbid you see her as inferior in any way. She can't hear. You can't hear anything. They have to go with her to translate. She's losing her vision because she has macular degeneration. She doesn't care. She just wants to be alone in her house. That's the sign of somebody who's just like, I can't admit that there's anything wrong with me, and I don't want to talk or see anybody because it's too difficult. Like, no friends. It's crazy. And then after that, she decides she doesn't want to talk to one of my aunts anymore because God forbid they try to reschedule the appointment. So yeah, it's I don't know. I tell those stories because I hope at some point someone would be like, my mom too. Not to get sympathy because she's whatever she is. I don't even care anymore. But all right. So that was the Psychology Today article. I think that's pretty good, but maybe we can add to it a little bit with these other ones. All right. This next article is from The Cut. That's a website. All right. This is, it's mostly talking about the difference between introverts and covert narcissists, which I think is a thing. Like, because if you're like me and you're like, yeah, I kind of like being at home, then if you're hearing this article, you think, well, maybe I am a narcissist. And I think, you know what? Side tangent again. I think all people who are raised by narcissists, even if we're not, we tend to worry about being a narcissist or not. I do. I have oh my gosh, I'll just tell you guys, okay, all right, listen, I have been in this weird place for like a couple weeks where I am stuck in, in a loop. I pretty much shower every day, which sounds gross, but I do. I don't really like washing my hair, and it's okay. My hair's used to it. Like, I only really need to wash it every few days. Sometimes it gets worse than that. But here's the whole point of why I'm telling you that is because I don't know, literally, I don't know if I'm supposed to be like, look, this is who I am. Yeah, I'm not wearing makeup. My hair is dirty. I look well, and I don't walk in there looking like a bum, into the store or whatever, but I don't go to work on a daily basis. If I have a job, it's stand up and I get dressed nice and I do my hair and makeup because I show up for work nice. But on a daily basis, I don't know if I'm just supposed to be like, yeah, this is who I am. Look at me. I put 10 pounds on after the appendectomy. Feel my stomach. I love me for me. I'm doing this. I don't have to wear makeup to please you. And then there's the other side where I'm like, I buy pairs of boots. I fall in love with them at the store. And I'm like, these boots are fucking amazing. And I never wear them. I have pairs that I've bought for years and I never wear them. Clearly I like clothes. But then also, what am I going to do? Dress up to go to Target to get antacid from a dog? What? What kind of a lunatic would I look like being super dressed up? So now I'm like in this weird area of like, if I dress up, am I a narcissist? If I love myself for being 10 pounds overweight, am I a narcissist? What's the appropriate thing? Is fashion narcissism? Is makeup narcissism? I don't know. And now, I look gross most of the time. I'm walking around looking dumpy. And you know what? It doesn't help that my husband doesn't give a shit. He loves me for me. What the fuck? He just loves me? So I can get gross and he doesn't care? Okay. Sorry. I know that was a bad tangent, but it's stuck in my head. If you have an opinion on whether or not I should shower more often or dress nice, I don't know. Send me an email at evilmompod@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Oh my gosh. I just know one day I'm going to get that shitty email and they're just going to be mean. Okay. Let's go back. Well, I used half of my time on my rants. Okay. Let's see. This is from The Cut. That's a website, and they actually quote actual psychologists and stuff, so I trust it. It seems legit. And I think I mentioned this article is about, it's about covert narcissists, but it's saying that there's a difference between introverts, and covert narcissists, which I think is a good thing. I'm an introvert. I like to stay at home. This tendency, you could argue, being an introvert may arise simply because introverts like spending a lot of time in deep reflection, getting lost in their own thoughts, and some of those thoughts naturally are going to be about themselves. But at what point, I'm reading from the article, at what point does self-reflection cross the line into self-preoccupation? As it turns out, there are some striking similarities between the popular understanding of introversion and a psychological characteristic called covert narcissism. It's all the entitlement and grandiosity most people associate with narcissism, minus the bluster. Maybe you know someone like this. They tend to believe they're being underestimated or overlooked, like their amazing qualities are forever going unnoticed by everyone else. They often take things too personally, especially criticism, and sometimes feel a little resentful when other people bother them with their problems. Blah, blah. There's a quiz, but we're not going to take it because it's, it's loaded. All right. But this is basically, the quiz is basically all this stuff in question form. Take a look at some of the items on a scale to measure covert narcissism, designed by psychologist Jonathan Cheek. There's just a few things here. It says, I easily become wrapped up in my own interests and forget the existence of others. I feel that I am temperamentally different from other people. When I enter a room, I often become self-conscious and feel that the eyes of others are all upon me. And that's a narcissistic fantasy right there. It's assuming that the world is paying attention to you. So yeah, that's the thing. Those are sort of the three questions or three statements that would not necessarily make you an introvert, but the covert narcissist. It also says there are a few outward signs of this version of narcissism. Instead of bragging aloud, for example, covert narcissists mostly keep their sky-high opinions of themselves locked inside their own heads, leaving them feeling misunderstood and overlooked. I thought this was interesting because I always kind of like Zooey Deschanel, but it said Zooey Deschanel, for example, may or may not be an introvert, and she may or may not be a narcissist. But back in 2012, she gave an interview to Allure that includes a quote about her college experience, and it's a pretty great articulation of the state of mind. It says, I went to Northwestern because I had gone to a really non-traditional high school. I was like, it'd be cool to have a traditional college experience, she told the magazine. Then I was like, oh, but none of these people understand what's cool about me. My specialness is not appreciated in this place. What? That's a little shitty. I kind of like her. I don't know. Maybe she's not a narcissist. That's what it says. It could be either way. Psychologists, however, argue that all narcissists are, in reality, quite vulnerable or even needy, despite their outward boastfulness. There are covert narcissist aspects to any kind of narcissist. So that's great. It's just a big fucking mess, isn't it? And And they say there's really no really good redeeming qualities to being a covert narcissist, because overt narcissists tend to be like leaders of companies. There's quote unquote good narcissism, like, belief in yourself or whatever, the people who feel like they can't fail. And they become like politicians or leaders of companies. Those are at least that's one positive trait of overt narcissists. But covert narcissists, they're like, yeah, they have no redeeming qualities about them. So yeah, that's weird. Anyway, and then lastly, we have one more article from health.com. That's legit, health.com. Now, this article says that there's 3 different types. And they say there's covert, overt, and then people with narcissistic personality disorder. But I don't know. I feel like people who are like, all narcissists have narcissistic personality disorder. Like, well, I guess that's not true, because you can have narcissistic traits but not be a narcissist. We're all figuring this shit out together. This is the quote from this article in health.com. Narcissism is a failure of healthy sense of self. That's what Elizabeth G. Loran, PhD, an assistant professor of medical psychology at Columbia. So she's got some credibility. In general, a narcissist has an outsized need to be admired, a sense of entitlement, and constant thoughts about being better than others, whether that means being more successful or more loved. The overarching expression of this type of personality is an obsession with self that prevents intimacy with others. And I think that's the big difference right there. The big difference is, if you have narcissistic traits, you might still be able to have a relationship with other people, but someone with narcissistic personality disorder lacks empathy to an extent, or has such narcissistic traits that they can't be in a good relationship. I've dated narcissists. You know this. I have dated narcissists. I've had narcissists as friends who start off so fun and so charming, men and women, and you're like, this person's so much fun, and they're so interesting and so engaging, and they just make me feel great about myself. And then 6 months later, you're like, fuck, that's their number on my screen on my phone. I can't do it. They're exhausting, and they'll kill your soul. They really will. My mom did. It's weird, this Thanksgiving. One of the things I'm thankful for is just not having her around. It's so fucking peaceful. Doesn't that make me sound like a shit person? I don't care. I didn't set it up that way, I've been referencing her a lot. But this is the My Mom is a Bitch podcast. So it seems right. All righty. Oh my gosh, it's already 22 minutes in. Means we should do a dramatic journal reading. I still don't know if these are fucking funny or not, but I found this and I was like, this is actually pretty funny. I don't know the context. I think a male comic brought his girlfriend to a club and wanted me to sit with her and keep her company while he went off and talked to people, which I thought was a little bit weird. And she was apparently mean to me. So here we go. Dramatic journal reading. I did not like what his girlfriend said to me, and I don't have to take it. She is not my problem. I didn't bring her. She is his problem. And last night, I was tired from busting my ass all day painting. So I will do whatever the fuck I want. Hang out. Have fun. I will hang out more when I don't have an hour plus drive home. I don't care what you want from me. This is what I want from me. Your new girlfriend can suck big dick. Because no thanks. That's it. That's it. That's the journal reading, you guys. Oh my goodness. That was a good one, I think. All right. We need to do something positive. We need to pull this shit out of the ground. We need to pull the weed by the roots and change our minds. Change some thoughts about ourselves. Not those other people. Fuck them. Let's keep those thoughts. All right, we're going back to CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy techniques. These are the best because they're practical. But I'm going to do a couple because they're pretty short. So, and it's only about 24 minutes in. So, first of all, how old is this? That's the name of the technique. How old is this? Which makes it sound, the way I'm making it sound makes it sound kind of judgy. How old is this? When did you have this shirt since? It's real old. You know what I mean? How old is this? Each time you have a familiar, painful thought, ask yourself, how old is this? Recall the earliest time you can remember having the thought. This will remind you that it's just a thought, that it has come up before, that it will continue to come up from time to time, and that you will continue to survive the thought and carry on with your life just as you always have before. Your batting average of surviving this thought is 1,000. I don't watch a lot of baseball, but that sounds about right. You have a perfect score. You have a 100% survival rate of every time this thought has come up. You've always lived through it. I think that's kind of interesting. You've always gotten past, you never died from it. Never once. Okay, and the next one is more of a physical thing. Sometimes this works for people. I haven't quite done it. It hasn't worked for me. This doesn't mean I'm not going to share it because it could work for somebody. Next one is called turning a hand. So you'd start palm up, okay? Each time you have a painful thought, let go of it by turning your hand over as if you were letting go of a small stone that you've been carrying, and tell yourself, there's a thought, let it go. As you turn your hand and let the thought fall away. Just flip your hand like you're flipping a burger, but without a spatula, but with it's hard to explain without a visual. But I think you get it. Just flip it over, flip it, let it go. I think I have done actually like a version of this at some point. I went to this lady. It was really cool. It was a little bit weird and woo-woo. I think it was in North Carolina. She was George Takei's cousin. The guy from Star Trek, who's super cool and funny on Twitter. Follow him, by the way. And she would say, like, when you have a feeling, kind of like, pull it out of your chest and look at it and go, oh, that's anxiety. And then put it in the anxiety basket. And I was doing that literally, where I was like, kind of like pulling something pretend off my, as I bumped the mic with my hand, pulling something pretend off of my chest and go, oh, I see, that's anxiety. Putting it in the anxiety basket and being like, it went away. Sometimes I think my husband thinks this chick's crazy because I just need to say stuff out loud. Hey, look, I'm really anxious right now and it sucks. Sorry. No, I just need to sometimes just putting it out in the sunlight to expose it kind of helps me. So maybe that's a few things, 3 things today, like a bonus to the bonus and the helpful tools. And if this shit's working for you, let me know. evilmompod@gmail.com. I appreciate anybody who's listening. I really do. If you like it, I don't know, subscribe. It just feels so needed. Please subscribe. Please like me. Subscribe. Give me a good review. That would be the balls. And send me an email if something's working or not working for you. If you want me to talk about something, I'm fucking open to talking about it because I'm running out of fucking ideas just to keep pounding this shit into our heads. This is for me too, you guys. I'm getting just as much out of it as you guys because I am not fucking normal, but I'm working at it. And doing this is helping me and hopefully helping somebody else too. All right. Have a great week. I believe in you. You got this. You're better than the way they treated you. I don't care who the fuck it was. If it's a mom, a dad, a grandmother, boyfriend, girlfriend, dog. Dogs usually are all right. But yeah, you're better than that. Okay. Talk soon. Okay. Bye.